pet lovers, and welcome back to the Dog Sitter's House podcast. I thought it was time that I come to you and give you my thoughts on what I think are some of the biggest mistakes that not only I made in my pet business, but what I see time and time again in other pet businesses and the owners. So buckle up, Buttercup, because today I'm going to reveal some of the things that actually might be the issue to your burnout, to you working 24/7. So if you feel like your business is thriving, it's booming, it's growing, and you love that, it's such a great feeling. It feels like you're succeeding, you're kicking, you know what? And it's doing everything you ever could have imagined because it's just blowing up so quickly. Except for one caveat. You feel trapped. You feel like you don't have a life anymore. And you maybe are kind of feeling guilty because your family and friends are sick and tired of you never having time for them. And maybe, just maybe, you're to the point or have gotten to the point before where you're considering closing up shop and getting a job. You figure maybe it's better to work 40, even maybe 50 hours for someone else than to have to work 80, 90 hours a week for your own business. Your business that you opened thinking that being your own boss would be better because it should bring you more freedom, right? But it didn't happen. And I get that because that is exactly what happened to me. And that is what I see happening all the time. And what I find is that everyone, including myself, thinks that the reason that we are burned out, the reason that we can't get any time off is a lack of employees. But then how are we going to make payroll? Are we sure we can afford to pay them? Because let me tell you, I did that. I hired employees. I hired a ton. I hired one. All of a sudden, I needed more. I hired more. And next thing you know, I had like 8 or 9 people working for me. And all it did was give me way more jobs to do. Instead of being the CEO running my business, all it did was run me harder. I had more people to schedule, more people to train, more people to pay, which meant I need more business to be able to pay them. I had more people to manage. You know how big of a job that is. And on top of it, I had to do a ton of more scouting and interviewing and training because I cannot even begin to tell you how many people I would take through the entire hiring process, which was not really short because I wanted to try and make sure I found good people, only to have them ghost me on their first scheduled day of work. The frustration was maddening. It is so frustrating to spend so much time, have so much hope that this new person you hired is going to finally be your savior to give you a day or two off, and then they don't show up. And you are so exhausted, you're walking around like a zombie. Hiring is not the solution to burnout, but it is often the thing that people try to fix in order to fix the burnout. Another thing I see is people, myself included, thinking, oh, I just need more business. Because if I have more business, I have more income, and then I can afford to block off a weekend or a week or something here and there, once a month even. Hey, okay, first of all, there's 2 things wrong with that scenario, if you ask me, okay? The first thing is that it actually is not cool to only have 1 weekend off a month and then work 100% of the rest of the month. Okay. I don't know about you, but I did not start my business so that I can only have 1 weekend off a month. No, life continues without me and I want to be there for it. Okay. Second of all, how many times have you blocked off a weekend or a week and you were just planning a staycation? You were just planning on sleeping in and maybe staying up late with your girlfriends or your significant other, And you just wanted to relax for a change and not have a lot to do, not have to worry about packing, traveling, all that. Only to have that customer contact you with a, please, can you watch my cat this weekend or my dog this weekend or whatever the case may be? Oh, we need you. We don't have anybody else. And you cave. And you cave like, well, it'll only be one. So it'll kind of be like I'm off. But the fact is, you still have feedings. You still have to let them out to go potty if they're dogs. You still have to walk them if they're dogs. They are still going to take up a few hours of your day. And chances are, if your customers are like any of my customers, the dogs and the cats really, is you can't sleep in when you have animals that you're caring for, right? I mean, they tell you when the sun is rising and to get your booty out of bed, like it or not. And that, my friend, is not a staycation. That is not one where you can just relax, do what you want. And that is not the answer to actually solving your burnout issues. See, all of these solutions that you may have tried or thought about trying, that I tried, okay, I'll hire more people. Okay, that didn't work. Okay, I just need more business and then I can block off some time. That didn't work. So if you are a fully booked pet business owner, trapped working 24/7 hours in your business, feeling like you can never take a single day off, much less a week, without everything collapsing. If you're constantly being pushed past your boundaries with your customers, asking for you to stay late, come early, discount your pricing, give an extra this or that, what have you. If you're getting more client requests than ever, but you can't afford to hire a really good employee who actually shows up, and or you're working late hours, struggling to make payroll already, and constantly telling friends and family that you are way too busy, then buckle up, Buttercup, because today I have the solutions that you might not think is the actual solution. And I am going to go through the different issues that we think is the problem. And meanwhile, our bucket is still leaking. So we're going to get down to how to plug the holes in your business so that you stop dealing with the 24/7 constant work and constant headaches from customers. Because the truth is, it's not your fault. The entire reason you are in the boat that you're in right now is because you are so damn good. Okay, so pat yourself on the back, because business would not be booming and you would not be so burnt out if you weren't so damn good. Okay, excuse my French, but sometimes we have to give credit where credit is due. Not to mention, this is a common predicament that many pet business owners find themselves in time and time again. This is usually when they exit stage left, quit, and get a job, because working 40 or 50 hours for somebody else versus 80 hours for themselves a week is a lot more desirable. But here's the deal, okay? Most people in this predicament, what I find, what I also did, was that we believe that we first just need more clients, okay? Clients, yes, bring in more revenue and maybe give you that chance to block off a week or a weekend here and there. But let's just work through that, shall we? If you block off a week or a weekend, does that mean you're working 24/7 the rest of the month? Is that really, really, truly what you envisioned when you became your own boss, your own business owner? Because I don't know about you, but I certainly did not envision working every single day, 14, 15-hour days, except for maybe 3 to 5 days out of the month. That is ridiculous. Second of all, just hiring more clients usually means taking on more headaches, because hiring more clients only gives you more to do. You have more to schedule. You have more communications to go through. You have more screenings to go through. You have more people asking you to bend your boundaries. The second thing that most people think logically enough, is going to save them from Burnoutville in their pet business is to hire more people. Makes sense. I thought so too. Until I went down the entire disasterville of hiring, training, people not showing up, searching, interviewing, hiring, training, people not showing up over and over and over again, because I really couldn't afford to pay them attractive wages to hire quality, reliable people. And you and I both know in this business, the thing we need the most are most reliable and trustworthy people. And in order to get that, you have to pay for it. Not to mention, hiring people does not necessarily mean you're going to get more time off, because your plate just got bigger. You just added 10 more jobs to your list of responsibilities. You can no longer dream about being a CEO, working on your business and just pulling the puppet strings from your office. No, now you have more people that if they call in sick at the last minute, guess who gets to fill in? If they call to ask questions, guess who has to answer those questions? You are constantly managing, fielding, training. You just added so much more work to your plate. So while hiring can be a good thing that can lighten your load, it is not a good thing if you don't have the foundational issues handled first, which means it's a complete catch-22. So you're probably like, yeah, what do I do? Because I'm pulling my hair out here and I don't know what else to do. I get it. I totally get it. That's why I am doing this episode today. Let me tell you a little story. So I'll never forget the day I was at a in-person conference, right, with my coach. And my coach has thousands and thousands of people that he coaches. So I'm sitting in a room of over 1,000 people. There might have been 2,000 or 3,000 there for all I know. I was lucky enough to get a closer seat that day. And he asked the audience to raise their hand if they felt like there was a problem in their business that they couldn't solve, that they were stuck. So naturally, I told him, yeah, I'm stuck in a catch-22. He called on me in front of everybody. And I'm like, I have a problem you can't solve. Okay, I was all like, I got this. I'm gonna stump you. I mean, not really, but I really wanted some help with this. So I was like, yeah, I'm in a catch-22 because I can't finance the growth, the startup of my coaching business if I don't constantly overbook myself. And then I'm too exhausted to work on my coaching business. How do I get out of the cycle? And he looked at me in front of all these people, so embarrassingly, and said, as long as you believe that, it will be true. I was kind of taken aback and I was kind of like, what does that even mean? You know, but he continued on and it started to sink in after I got past my little ego bruise. I realized, okay, so all along, what I've been doing wrong is asking the wrong question. I'd been looking at the problem completely wrong. Instead of asking, how do I grow my business to be able to afford more help? How do I hire more people to get time off? How do I grow the business? Instead of asking all those questions, I needed to ask, how can I earn more but work less? How can I earn the income I want without working 24/7? Or, for that matter, becoming an HR manager, which is not what I love to do. Rocket science, right? I mean, just the shift in that question alone changed everything for me, changed my perspective. Wayne Dyer quote, change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. I know I have quoted this guy many times probably before on my podcast, but it is so true. It applies to so many things in our lives. Change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So I had to do a shift in my perspective before I could figure out the long-term, the sustainable solution to my burnout. Now, this reminds me of another short little story, if you don't mind, I share about Dave Ramsey. I know I've talked about him before because he's just one of my favorite gurus that helped me get out of over $80,000 in debt within a few years. And he had this radio show that I listened to while I was still trying to get out of debt. And I'd listen to it on my lunch break when I was at work. And everybody would call in to this radio show and be like, yeah, Dave, I can't get out of debt. I have all these bills. I have gas. I have car payment. I have rent or mortgage. I have groceries and utilities and cell phone. And these are all things I need. I mean, there's nothing I can do. I don't have any more money after I pay this stuff. I don't know what I'm going to do. What am I going to do, Dave? But when Dave dug into the numbers, he would always find something very, very interesting. Almost always, I would say 99% of the time, the car payment of these callers, the car payment was almost as much, if not more, than their mortgage payment or their rent. So Dave would always say, sell the car. Sell the car. It was like a broken record. It was almost like every call. It was like different circumstances, same solution. Sell the car. Get a beater, drive something less expensive, free up a couple $100 a month, maybe even sometimes close to $1,000 a month. And suddenly they had a way out. They had some extra money to start paying down their debt. The caller thought they had a necessity problem, that they had too many necessities, when they actually had a too expensive car problem. And this is very similar as to what I see happening to pet business owners every single day. They can't afford to take time off, so they think, okay, I need more business. I need more customers. But then they can't take time off. They can't afford help, so they think they need more revenue in order to hire more help. But then they still can't take any time off. They think that hiring people and just more people or finding more and more customers is going to solve all of their problems, when in reality, it just adds to them. Adding more work can actually create more burnout, more management headaches, and more problems. Maybe even more customer problems. Maybe even more mistakes, causing you to have bad reviews coming in. And none of us want to experience that, being that we are a heavily review-based, referral-based type of business. So just like Dave Ramsey would tell most of his callers to sell the car, I find myself telling most of my coaching clients to raise your prices. Because chances are the problems you're experiencing aren't because you don't have enough business, aren't because you don't have enough hired help. It's because your business isn't priced to support the life and business that you want, isn't priced well enough to allow you to become the CEO, and instead is keeping you trapped as the employee of your own company. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Okay, the first thing that everyone freaks out when I say this is, I can't raise my prices. My customers, I'll lose all my customers, or my competitors. I'm competitive with my pricing, April. I can't raise my prices. Or here's my favorite one. I want to be the affordable pet care service in my area for those who can't afford pet care. And here's the irony of that one. You're so committed to making sure pet owners can afford a vacation while you can't afford to take a day off. At some point, you have to stop treating your business like a local charity and instead becoming the business that people know is the premium service that is reliable, trustworthy, and experienced enough to take care of their animals. So if you are tired of the burnout, if you are tired of working late hours, never having time for your family, feeling guilty about it all the time, of trying to hire the right people, but it never actually solving your burnout issues, of trying to find more business, but it only adding more to your plate, then I am here to help you change that. Once I cracked the code that pricing was my real root cause in my business, and I actually fixed it with the proper pricing that supports my goals, my schedule, my desired lifestyle in my business, I knew I was onto something that was revolutionary for the pet business owner world, because it is so hard when you have multiple services, when you do dog walking, drop-ins, overnights, boarding, daycare, grooming, whatever the case may be. You usually have a variety of services that are priced in a variety of ways. You have a variety of prices, right? So it's extremely difficult to estimate, okay, this is how many I have on average every month or week, and this is what I charge on average, and then to work it all out. It does not, trust me, I did it wrong twice, not once, twice. You know how they say God will throw a pebble at you until like you keep messing up so many times he finally throws a boulder at your head. Well, that's what was happening. I finally got the boulder and I saw the light and I was able to talk it through, luckily with a very good mathematic whiz who helped me create a pricing calculator that includes what's called weighted averages. If you've heard me on my previous podcast episodes, I've talked about this a couple times, I think, briefly. Weighted averages is what was the ticket to figuring out the actual details of the numbers in my business, so that I knew that when I raised my prices, it was actually going to be prices that supported the entire business. It supported the people that I wanted to hire or had hired already. It supported me taking 2 weeks of paid vacation a year, but also it supported me being able to take time off every single week by being able to afford to hire more people, or by changing my business hours and things like that, changing my services around. And the increase in the pricing is what allowed me to work less, but earn more. Take one of my clients, for example. She was terrified. I mean, that's the thing, is you get so terrified in your mind just thinking that all your customers are going to leave you if you raise your prices. And I mean, I raised my prices an astronomical amount. I think it was, I'd have to go back and look at the numbers, but it was closer to, I think, 90% the third time that I raised them. I almost doubled the pricing because that's how underpriced I was. And this coaching client of mine, she only raised it like 20 to 30%. And she was deathly afraid, which is understandable. Of course, you're going to go into the fear mode and you're going to worry about that. We got through that. I helped her through that and helped her see, which is a big part of this that I can't really go into. It would take too long. Is really the mindset and the perspective shift, the change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Once we got through that hump and she took the courage, the step forward to raise her prices 20, 30%, she suddenly found herself working 10 or 11 hours less a week while increasing her take-home pay like 30%. It was insane. And it was overnight. As soon as she made the announcement and implemented her prices, she had a built-in day off every single week. It was amazing. And that's exactly how I felt. I went from working 60, 70, 80 hours a week to all of a sudden working 40. And then I even got that down to where I work only 30 hours or less on average. That did take a little bit more oomph besides just pricing. That had to do with restructuring, reimagining my business, implementing a membership and all that jazz. But just the pricing alone already saved me at least half the amount of time that I was working per week. And that's why this work matters to me, because I do believe there should be quality pet care out there. I do believe that people shouldn't have to resort to just putting their dog in a kennel if they don't want to. A lot of dogs don't do well in those environments. And it's hard to make sure your dog's getting the quality care they need. All of us with our animals, dogs or cats, we want our animals to feel comfortable and cozy and safe and loved when we're gone, as much as they feel that when we're there. And putting them somewhere where they're in a little cage 10 hours a day at a barky, loud facility or in a vet's office or something where there's lots of noise and commotion going on is definitely not a way to keep them feeling calm and safe. So I want there to be more people like you and I who take care of people's pets, whether it be in their homes or in the clients' homes, so that the animals can have a safer, more quality premium care. In order to do that, however, we have to make sure us pet business owners can sustain our pet business, that it is emotionally, physically, mentally, and financially sustainable. Because if it's not, one of those Legos are going to fall and crumple, and all of the other ones are going to follow, and we're going to end up closing up our businesses, and you're going to end up getting a job that you hate and never wanted in the first place. And you're going to think that the pet industry wasn't for you. Oh, it's just not for me. Oh, I just discovered this just wasn't for me. I've heard that many times. But if we get their pricing to where it should be, that is of good value, of exchange of value. So it's not like we're robbing anybody, and it's not like we're taking advantage of any customers, by no means whatsoever. But if we get the pricing to where it needs to be so that the pet business owner can actually take some much deserved time off on a regular basis, all of a sudden they love the pet business again. All of a sudden I fell back in love with all of my clients. It got to the point where I was kind of like, oh, I can't even take it anymore. Like, one more bark and I'm going to blow my top. For now, it's fabulous. I rarely have stressful days. I literally love almost every single day. And this is why it is so important to me to help you get to this point so that you can stay in business, love what you do, and still be a provider that is quality premium care for the pets out there in the world. And trust me, if I can do it, so can you. I didn't get an MBA in business. I'm not some sort of financial guru. I'm just a passionate pet lover like you who was tired of being exhausted from my own business. Just imagine your business is a car and you keep saying, I just need a bigger engine so I can go farther. So you add more bookings, more services, more clients, more employees. But if that car has a leak in the gas tank, a bigger engine isn't going to solve your problem. If you are leaking money by not charging enough for each service, adding more people to your team, adding more clients to your business is not going to solve the leak. Pricing is the leak. And until you actually fix the leak first, then and only then can you add the engine, the team, the more clients, the more services, and actually get somewhere. So hear me loud and clear. You do not need more help to take time off. You need a business that can afford to give you time off. There are 5 steps to mastering your pet business freedom pricing formula. Okay, I have a course coming up for free, a founding members course only. So I'm only accepting 10 people or less. And I'm closing the doors on September 1st, and we're going to get things organized and start going. That's about a week and a half out. So make sure you sign up for this because there are 5 steps that I'm going to provide live training on These steps come down to dreaming your ideal schedule first, just dream a little dream your ideal income, get all of your numbers and facts and figures together, plug them into the bonus feature that you will get as a free founding member, and that is my pricing calculator, a plug and play spreadsheet, so that it is customized to your business, your services, your tax rate, your number of employees, however many hours you want to provide for paid time off, you name it, whatever your details are. This is customizable, plug and play for you. So we'll get all those. You're going to learn how to use the calculator, how to plug and play with it. And you're going to also get my mindset coaching around overcoming the price increase fears. This is what stops everybody. So without this, many people end up giving up and chickening out and not raising their prices, and instead burning themselves out to the point of closure. Then you're going to learn how to help customers see the value and market your new prices. I'm not going to just leave you hanging dry to figure out how to market yourself with these new higher prices. No, I am going to give you another bonus, what I call my value visualizer. It is a nice little plug and play thing that you can add your own information in again and be a visual for people to show them the value of your services. But I go beyond that. You'll get more than that too. These are all of the things that is going to be included in this free live training. We're going to do it over Zoom sessions, multiple sessions, and the recordings will be available for you if you cannot make it live, although I do encourage you to make it live, because as a founding member, my request to you is to help me make this course even better. And if you're not there live to ask questions, then I don't know what I'm missing that you need. So keep that in mind too. We'll try to make it at a time that everyone can make it there. So if you're tired of feeling completely burnt out, if you're tired of feeling guilty telling your friends and family that you don't have time for them, and you know there's a way to make good money and still take time off for yourself on a regular basis, and you just need to know how to make that happen, then come join us so that you don't end up in the exact same place you are today a year from now. Because let's be honest, the Pet Business Freedom Formula pricing training that I'm providing is the single most powerful lever you have to completely transform your business and regain your life. And if you've stayed with me this long in this episode, then this tells me that you are in it to win it. And the best part is it is completely free with no sales pitch at the end. The only thing I am going to ask in return from you is an honest testimonial and your feedback along the way, like I said, because I want to make this the best training possible for other people in the industry. You don't have to be a spreadsheet whiz or a mathematician to do this. Literally anybody can do it just by following the steps that I will teach in the training. And I'm always going to be there to hold your hand along the way. You are going to get complete and utter access to me as a founding member, which in future trainings will not always be the case. So take advantage of it now. If I can do it, anybody can do it. All you have to do is follow the step-by-step process and ask questions if you're confused. When you implement the Pet Business Pricing Freedom Formula, it will literally be life and business changing. You will end up working fewer hours while earning more money. You will permanently prevent and overcome burnout. And you will gain true time and financial freedom through your pet business. A thriving pet business that supports your life instead of consuming it. And ultimately, it's going to help you feel so recharged, so alive, that you get to show up every single day, your best self, for your team and your clients. This has some sort of ripple effect, which means you're going to get more referrals. So be prepared. So the obvious question is, how can you apply this pricing system to leverage your time and profit from your pet business? You see, you have a choice right now. You can do it the slow way through trial and error, through hiring so many people and hoping that eventually things will just work out, through getting more customers, or getting to the point where you just hit a brick wall and you can't take it anymore. Or you can do it the incredibly easy and fast way by using my complete proven program, the Pet Business Freedom Pricing Training. So let's recap what you're going to get for free in exchange for testimony only. In exchange for that, I am going to give this training to you completely for free. You must sign up by September 1st. And I will have the link as to how to sign up in the description of the video. Let's recap what this is going to include for you. You're going to start getting some emails, and then you're going to start getting some time frames of when we're going to set up the live Zoom calls, the links, all that jazz, so you can put it on your calendar and schedule for it. It's going to start in September, which I think is a great time because a lot of kids have gone back to school. So we might have a little bit of a slower time here before the holidays pick up. And trust me, you want new pricing before the holidays pick up. So it is the optimal time to join. You're going to get all sorts of live training sessions over Zoom with free Q&A sessions with me. You're also going to get my value visualizer for marketing. You're going to get my pricing calculator. All of these are bonuses that in the future will cost extra money for people to get. And you're going to learn how to overcome all of the fears, how to actually realize, for example, that if you do lose a customers, they always, without fail, end up being the customers you don't mind losing. That's just one little snippet of what we're going to go over, but there's so much more. And then you're also going to really figure out what fits your lifestyle and your business. It's very customizable for you without me having to go into the details too much for each and every person. I'll answer any questions you have, of course, but the way that I'm going to deliver this training, you'll begin to see how easy it is to plug in your dream schedule, your dream lifestyle, and your dream income into the steps to turn it into what it is you envision. So this is your moment of decision. You can continue working 24/7, dealing with difficult customers, stressing over payroll or hiring or finding and interviewing people, and telling your loved ones that you're too busy for them. Or you can take action right now and join us. Go to the link in the description and secure completely free access to the Pet Business Pricing Formula Training. Plug your pricing leaks once and for all and start building the freedom-based pet business that you desired when you started. Thank you so much for listening today. It was so good to be back in front of the camera talking straight to yous, and I look forward to seeing you in the training. Happy tails to you.